Hello, everybody. Lex Gray here. Welcome to another entry. Today we are exploring episode 12 of Morter's Travels. Let's begin. Currently, we are still in Arlok. However, a very, very significant moment has transpired, and that has to do with where Morter currently is. Behind me is an interpretation, a visual interpretation based on GPT, as always, of the Dark Realms. Now, I talked about how the Dark Realms works in my very inconsistent lore. Whoever enters the Dark Realms, preferably someone of the bloodline, experiences it in many different ways. Depends on the perception of the user, of the individual. Now, if I recall correctly, um, Hulf, the way he experienced it, sorry, it's not a tear, it's I swear I have something on my eye. Okay, sorry, there we go. Hulf basically saw the same world he lives in, but much different. Deformed, distorted, darker, twisted, melting, all sorts of different labels. But this is how Morter will experience it. It's very dark, very eerie, very suspenseful. But as you can see on the top of the screen there are these strange branches kind of crawling through the sky. What we're looking at is not Arlok. Basically, basically, Mortar does not end up in Arlok. Nope. He ends up wherever the Dark Realms wants him to go. Remember, as I said many times, the Dark Realms is actually sentient. It's not just a dimension, not just a mirror replica of the existing world. It's actually a sentient being. It's a entity of sorts. We're talking like Marvel universe. We're probably talking like Eternity, abstracts of reality. This is an actual embodiment, a living embodiment of reality. And these portals throughout the Escabur landscape, there are only so far two discovered by us as we venture through, allow access into this entity. So it's not actually a location, it's a twist of perception, it's an experience. So, Mortar appears in this strange small village in the middle of the woods. It's not, again, it's not Arlok. Let's go to the map. This is actually going to be Ashford. But this is Ashford during a very monumental moment in the history of Escabur. 30 years ago. This is the very moment Ashford was attacked by the Master in his dragon form. So Mortar is walking through this destruction that's transpiring before him. In this image, it's just a calm looking village. Again, I didn't type in dragon destroying. I didn't want it to be too noisy in the background as I was speaking. After all, you don't want to distract from this ugly mug. Now, he's walking through and he's seeing death, carnage, destruction, fire, blood everywhere, screaming the horrors. Sometimes he doesn't see people, sometimes he does, running by him, like figments of his imagination, kind of blurring by him. He sees these transparent souls as they walk by him or scream, running by, their hands up, literally people on fire. And he looks up into the sky and he sees this dragon, not exactly in perfect form, but this very translucent looking dragon shape that's flying around spitting fire at the ground, causing the village homes to catch fire and burst into flames. So he's experiencing this, and he's not sure what to make out with it. Oh, before I continue, I did spend 5 experience points to get a new asset and upgrade another asset. I thought. I upgraded Duelist, and I also got the new card Ironclad. This equips me with armor, or it says when you equip armor. I'm just assuming my character has armor. I can use this when we are enduring harm, basically. Okay, back to the narrative. So, what we have to do here is also, sorry, for this episode, I'm doing my experimental Omni roll method. I'm not using any moves. This will take some time and challenge for me to get used to, but I will be doing my Omni roll method. I strictly roll within my 5 attributes and just try to detail, try to figure out how the outcome works in the roll. Strong hit, weak hit, miss. Okay, we got to figure out which attribute applies to this very moment when Morter is trying to comprehend what exactly is happening. Will this include a bond? The bond most likely will be associated with the Dark Realms itself. I think for this one, it is a toss-up between heart and wits. Comprehension or heart. It also could be spirit. Spirit right now is at 5. Everything except for supply and momentum is at a good point. Both his health and spirit are at maximum. Momentum is currently at +3, which again, I'm using momentum on my other house roll, where I spin it like a pool up to 4, I think, or 5, to boost the roll result, not to cancel out a a challenge die. So we're currently on the vow, enter the church to save Father. It's dangerous. So that's 2 boxes per progress, per waypoint. Still fiddling with the house rule for progress because we're not using the moves. So I think for this one, it's going to be, is it very personal to him or is it very spiritual for him? That could be the same thing. But I believe because this is testing his spirit more so, the experience, the overall presence of being in here, heart probably would be more one-on-one talking to someone or experiencing something in the real world. I think this one's more in spirits because we are in a very dark reality that's not part of its own perception. So let's say it's spirit. So I'm going to use the spirit progress bar, the spirit track, to roll against the 2 challenge dice. So the action dice are not, the action die is not used here. This is strictly a spirit roll at 5, I believe. I'm thinking I'm including the action die. So the spirit, yeah, let's do this. So it's +5. It's not terrible, but it's not the greatest. So let's go to our dice tray, which is right here. And we'll now roll, ignoring the d6, we'll now roll the 2 challenge dice. And I will allow momentum to be used if the result is not in my favor. Here we go. We have 3 and 8. So that's a weak hit. I'll take that. So weak hit does not give momentum. I only give momentum +1 on strong hits. Back to the camera. Now let's figure out what happens here. A weak hit for our character Morter to comprehend what he's experiencing before him, perceiving before him. This will now be our oracle. So there's the first roll. We have 98. That's going to be search. I already have an idea for what he can try. And then we have 87. Search strength. Oh, okay. So back to our camera. Search strength. He's looking not just for himself here, but he's looking for someone who is in charge. Someone, because he's seeing all this despair and all this destruction in front of his eyes. And it's clouding his judgment, it's clouding his perception, it's clouding his entire spirit, despite the fact it is at +5. So what I'm going to do here is actually lower, even though it's a weak hit, I'm going to lower his spirit to 4. I think the longer he spends time here in the Dark Realms, it's going to fluctuate his spirit based on the very moment in time. And so he's looking for someone in charge. He's looking for someone prominent, a very dominant character in this immediate area. I don't think when he's in the Dark Realms, I'm not sure if he still has a connection to the real world or he's just in someone else's experience. Actually, that's actually a really good idea. So what Mortar's experiencing is not him. He has been in Ashford. He's the son. He's the brother of Hulf. So I'm going to assume he's from Ashford. but he's the younger brother. So again, I'm not tracking ages here appropriately or accurately, I should say. But if he's younger by 4 or 5 years, Wolf was what, a kid? So maybe 8 and 10 years old. So that means Mortar was probably 5, is probably starting to have memories developing. Again, let's ask the Oracle because I'm trying to figure out if Mortar. Yes, Mortar was here. So, but let's ask the Oracle. This is not a roll for these two tables. This is a roll for a yes no question. Is Mortar currently experiencing his own past? Once again, 50% chance. Okay, yes, he is. This is indeed him. Shoot, I was hoping for the latter, but I'll go with it. All right, so he is experiencing himself, but he doesn't know he is. He is acting as if, how should I put this? He doesn't know this is his future self re-experiencing his past. He is as he was a kid. He is crying. He's looking for his parents. And if I recall correctly, lore-wise, their mother is dead and just the father's alive. So he's looking for his father. That's the searching strength. He's looking for his father. So there we go. That adds up. Search strength. He's looking for his father. And as he's walking around, he sees the dragon once more pass over, and the gust from its wings blows him over, and he falls over, knocking himself out. So this will lower. Well, let's leave the spirit for now. This doesn't really hurt him literally. It's just an experience. So, as he's knocked out, time passes, and we know from Holf's background, that Holf was given to Edrin, his uncle, who never really told him that he was his uncle. I don't think he did. And they escaped during this siege. But now we're saying that Mortar was knocked out because he knocked himself out on the head and probably fell maybe under a branch or a tree or something that kind of concealed his safety from the dragon. So let's say he wakes up in his eye. He loses the memory. It vanishes before him, and he wakes up moments later. Let's go back to the Oracle and see what he experiences next. The Oracle's kind of driving this one for me here. We have 80, exactly. Change. Change dice, apparently. There it is. The flash is good. 39. So change nature. Well, that could just mean change the scenery. So he wakes up, change nature. Well, we can take that literally. He is in the back of a wagon with a few others that are being transported somewhere else. And he wakes up. He's looking around. Remember, he's just a kid. He's trying to comprehend what's happening. So he's still re-experiencing his childhood. So there's a big gap there. He was knocked out unconscious during the destruction of his village, of his home, and he wakes up being carried away in a carriage, in a wagon, being pulled by a horse. And there's someone. He doesn't see the face, but there's someone. Maybe there's a couple, like two older couple, that are just. You see the gray hairs. We don't see their face. They're just on. They're just riding along. So he's looking around and he sees several other kids and older villagers, random people from Ashford. Some are very gravely injured, but they have no faces. They're just kind of silhouettes like this. They're just kind of sitting on the wagon looking down. Think of the opening scene from Skyrim, just with no faces and they're not talking to each other. They're just looking down like this, like shadows. And Mortar is the only one who has like any skin tone. It looks like me right here in the dark. So he's very bright. But as Mortar is looking at his hands, his brightness is diminishing. That's where spirit. I'm going to tie the spirit track with his physical form in the Dark Realms. So he starts to try talking to people. And as a kid, he's like, "Where's my father? Where's my father? Where's my brother?" and no one's answering. He's talking to, there's an echo of his voice. You can still see these weird branches in the sky, and it's just not freaking him out. It's like he's used to it. So no one's talking. But as he looks to, well, let's roll for heart. He's really trying to figure out where's his father, where's his family at. Remember, the mother's dead long. His mother died some time ago, way before the carnage. So we're rolling heart here. He's trying to figure out. He's trying to push the narrative here to find out where his father is. And in this context, him as a kid asking where his father is him in modern times asking where Damon is. So he is talking to the Dark Realms unknowingly. The Dark Realms is sentient, so the Dark Realms will speak back to him if it is strong enough. So let's go to the dice tray. We're rolling. Uh, I'm going to ignore that because I did not know it was going to roll off the bat. So we're rolling heart on this one. And because of the bonds, which I almost forgot to include last time, so a mistake, I'll include a +1 on this roll, either because it's Damien or the Dark Realms itself. And I have a terrible roll. I do have 3 momentum right now. So with +1, that'll be 2 right now. Oh, my heart is 3. Sorry, heart is 2, +1 for bond. So we have 3 total, which puts us at 4. But if I add another 3, that's going to be 5, 6, 7. 7 total. So we had a weak hit. I lowered my momentum down to 0 based on a recommendation from a commenter. So if I spend momentum, it gets down to 0, not to the reset. So that makes it even tougher. So 7 is a weak hit, barely a weak hit, which means we go to our Oracle. And I will count that roll because it's just a random word. 75. Let's see, you can barely see that. Fortify, I think, if I'm reading that right. The text is a little too sharp for its own good. And then, so Fortify, 80. Health. Okay, so basically, a weak hit, which is no momentum bonus. Fortify health. The older man of the two, it's an older couple, probably farmers, they're probably passing through. The older man turns his head, man, there's no face, but he speaks to Morter. He says, "Rest up, young one. We have much traveling to do, much distance to travel." And Morter, I mean, what more can he do? It's a weak hit, which means it's not. Okay, so if it was a miss, no response. A weak hit, it responds, but in the context of his memories. If it was a strong hit, there would have been a hint in there about where Damien's location is, where Damien is at. So we're in the middle of that scenario. So the vision slowly collapses, and we're going to reduce spirit down to 3 now because that weak hit didn't work out for Mortar. Now let's roll for the Oracle to see what happens next. Yeah, I really like using the Oracle here for kind of driving the scenes through. 47 is going to be reveal, I think, if I'm reading that right. Reveal 45. Reveal danger. Okay, so reveal danger. Basically, as Mortar awakens from the involuntary scene change, this transition, Star Wars wipe, he is in the same carriage, but they're being attacked by bandits. And so they flee. They are somewhere, let's say currently they are. Now, this is through the divide. They got through here. They traveled. Oh, okay. I have a great idea. They are in the Darkwood Greens, which we have not yet explored. So this is through the memories, though. This is not through modern times. So they get ambushed by some bandits, and they're literally steps away from. Now, to be honest with you, ask myself a question here. There is the divide. That's the river that's right there in the middle. Would it make sense for this old couple to be going north but not south? to like Ravenshire, the castle. Remember, somehow he ended up in Corwood for the majority of his life. So I'm going to say the couple had no other really choice. They were from the north, so they're traveling north for whatever reason. I'm going to keep it as it is. Keep it at where we were going in the first place. Okay, so they get ambushed. The old couple unfortunately dies, and they get arrowed. They get killed, robbed, or whatever happens to them. They're not there. They vanish. Like they don't. You don't see them die. Like, oh no, I fell and I can't get up. They just kind of turn into mist. They vanish. They blur away. While the others in the carriage in the carriage, they flee. They disappear, and they turn into these weird faded shadows of the forest. And the bandits are just these kind of weird glitchy looking blurs that just kind of follow them into the forest. While Morter, he's there sitting down, all of a sudden he blinks and he's running in the forest. He's running by himself, he's crying. And he gets eventually to Dorman. Dorman is a small, don't know much about Dorman just yet. I haven't got to that detail yet, but Dorman is a small village right between the edge of the Darkwood Greens and the Pantheon Mountains, the peaks of Pantheon, which I have developed lore for. FYI, I've been working on the lore for the world of Escabur, and I've made great progress. I've talked about it, not in great detail, but my previous draft made a lot of progress earlier today since the last video, so I've developed more refinement of the lore, the timeline of the Escabur Island, who discovered it, what the race was, who first stepped on the natives to the Escabur Island, why there's a split in the between two islands, everything, just like all that stuff. I made great strides. Now I'm working on the independent locations, so I have the lore, the world, a very general scope of it, and then I'm developing lore for every single location, even as I'm making these videos. So that hopefully I can overlap one of those moments. Okay, now let's go back to the Oracle. And so as he is screaming, running in tears, we're going to do another spirit check. So let's go to actually our dice tray. I will guess I count that. So spirit with bond, I'm going to use +4 total, which puts it at, you know what? I want to give Mortar a little chance here. I'm going to include heart with spirit. This is, I think I was a little mistaken last time. I'm going to correct myself here. I'm going to include the relevant attribute and the relevant status tracker. That's going to be heart and spirit, because this is not just perceiving, but also experiencing from his soul, from his inner spirit. So spirit +3, heart +2, that's 5, plus the bond, that's 6. Let's go back to our dice tray. And again, I'm going to stay on the roll I had. That's going to be 7, so it's a miss. I have no momentum to burn, so a miss is not good. This is our first miss with my Omni roll. What I will typically do is just ask the Oracle. Not pay the price specifically, but ask the Oracle what happens as we perceive it. So, he's running to Dorman, and the Oracle says the following. Based on that week, that miss, 56. Let's see. Resist and 76. Rival. Resist rival. Let's do one more. Or you know what? Better yet, let's do a plot twist. That actually might be I don't want to do plot twists like every single time, but I think it happens when plot twists probably should happen maybe every few misses. Let's go back to our D100, which is the Oracle. So my apologies, I'm going to be re-rolling this. 88. Two seemingly unrelated situations are shown to be connected. Okay. I understand. We rolled this one before. Two seemingly unrelated situations interconnect. So two different things interconnect like Legos. All right, so no asset cards here. We can't use him. He's not really in control based because of that miss. So he is crying and he sees something in the distance. He believes to see Damon. I'll let him see Damon for this. But okay, to make sure my OBS flashed for a second. Like, oh, okay. He sees Damon, but Damon has his hands reaching out, and then he gets pushed back by something. Someone grabs him, pushes him back, pulls him back. And so Mortar is still a kid. He's like he sees Damon now. So theoretically, or kind of a blend between his biological father and Damon, who is his adoptive father, they kind of blend together. And he sees his figure, the shadow. He in a sense, as young Mortar, thinks it's his father, biological father, which we don't know. I think I have names. I just might have forgot to keep track of that. And his adoptive father, Damon. They're blended together. So he's reaching out and he's crying, but as a kid, but he can't catch up. The literal village of Dormon is also being pushed back, and the gap is widening between the two, and he can't catch up. So Mortar, let's roll the oracle here. I have an idea, but I want to see what the oracle says. This will be 28, which is going to be investigate, and then 92. Investigate, lose. He's trying to investigate, lose. Well, he's losing his father. They're drifting apart, but he's here investigating where his father is. So maybe there's a slight ounce of hope. Mortar's adult Mortar kicks in. His instinct kicks in, and he's able to push. So this will be iron. He's actually going to try and grab. He's stepping out of his memories as a kid, and he's turning into his adult self. He's going to try to grab like the screen of what he's looking at, like it's an actual projection screen, and grabbing it. And so this will be iron. He's desperate. He sees his father, he's Damon more so because Damon is more relevant to him than his biological father. Didn't have much memories about his father. Damon was there for like maybe his teenage years all the way up to current. So this is gonna be iron, which is 2, but I will let him a bond. I'm gonna do +2 actually on this one. So +2 because this is a strong bond. This is his main bond. His father, well, adopted father. I'll just say father. And so that'll be iron, which is 2, and then the 2 bonus for bond. So here we go. This will be the roll of a lifetime. I'm gonna re-roll because that it always glitches like that. But I still really like how it's a different scene. All right. So there we go. I'm glad I did. That's 4, which is 10. That is a super strong hit. Okay, so that's because it's a strong hit. Darn, it's not matches. I was hoping it'd be matches. Okay, I'll give him +1 momentum. All right. And we have to go to the Oracle to see what it means. It's a strong hit. 87. Endure. And then 34. Deception. Oh, that's great. I like that. Endure deception. And he's enduring it. The deception is this whole reality, the upside down, the mirror dimension. He tears through it. And as he rips apart what becomes an image of what he saw earlier, he rips through it and he falls through. He lands in front of him. He's in a room. He's in a room. This room is, well, let's say this room is back in uh, Corwood. Sorry. Yeah, Corwood. He's looking around. He's still in the Dark Realms, but he's in Corwood now. And he's in his home where he grew up. He's looking around, and it's like his actual bedroom. It's an old rundown shack, and they don't really exactly live a luxury lifestyle. It's not a $1 million mansion, but you're looking around and he sees like some old books, a bed. He sees a treasure chest, and he sees some toys. And he's like, He gets up and um he's in his like maybe 15 or 16 years old memories, teenage years, and he hears some voices downstairs. He hears he hears a woman's voice yell out for his name, Morter, time for breakfast. And he's freaking out, like, what's going on? So he walks, he exits the door, he goes in this hallway, walks downstairs, so it's a two-story house, and it's a very tight house, very small, cozy. And he gets into the kitchen, and there's a table with his mother. She's holding a pot of stew or something. There's some bread on the table, and right in front of him, across, sitting at the table, is Damon. Damon is sitting, eating some soup. He looks up, and he says, his mouth is full of like soup or noodles, whatever. He's like, "Morning, nice day for fish, and ate it." And then now Mortar is currently in this weird phase when he's trying to push through as a modern Mortar, but he's in his younger experiences when he was a kid, a teenager. So he's rebellious, listens to metal music, and MTV, all that stuff. Um, and so he puts his Walkman away. Looks like Dad goes back upstairs, reads his comics. No, um, he sits down next to his dad. Dad smiles and he says, "How'd you sleep?" And Mortar's like, "I had a bad dream. I was couldn't sleep." And his mother, she laughs. She's like, "Don't we all have bad dreams, honey?" And she goes back to cooking whatever she's doing. And so Mother's face is not there. Mother's face is blank. But Damon's face is there. Crystal clear, bright as day. He sees Damon. Here's what's going on. Damon is in the Dark Realms. He's been here for some time. He's trapped in a loop. He's re-experiencing the proudest moment of his life, and it's a family. He has his wife, who is also adopted mother of Mortar, and Mortar. There's peace. He probably has a job. Probably isn't a thief. Doesn't work for the Frozen. Maybe he was a merchant, a fisherman, anything. That's not a criminal. This is his proudest moment of his life. But the Dark Realms got him in this loop. And so they talk for a bit. Mortar's not really snapping out of it. He's playing along. They finish breakfast. All of a sudden, Oracle. So, as he's re-experiencing this childhood memory, this of his teenage years, and Damon's most cherished memory, 8. There is a. Does that literally say guest? There's a guard. Okay, I'll take it. Then there is a ally. Okay. Whoops. There's a knock at the door. A loud bang. And Mortar gets up. I'm sorry. Damon gets up, walks to the door, opens it. We can't see who it is. It's from the door's blocking the view of who it is. Damon's just talking with someone. Now, let's ask the Oracle, what kind of conversation is going on here? So there's a couple people. There's an ally, there's a guard. So maybe it is a coworker of his, a partner in business, whoever it is. It's a friend, it's a business partner. Let's go back to the Oracle and see what they're talking about. Can Mortar really detail what's happening here? Catch what is happening here. So this might be a roll. 40. We have it's being blocked, so let me re-roll again just to see it. Avoid, okay. Avoid 56. Advantage. Okay, so the Darkrooms does not want Mortar to hear what's being said, so this will require a roll of he's trying to perceive what's happening here. So that is going to be wits. I think. Wits. Let's do +3. So Mortar is trying to hear what's being spoken here. That's +3 plus the bond of his father and his mother. He's at home. So +2 bond total, which is not typically in the rules, but under this custom here. 5 total in this roll. Let's see what happens. 10. So even with just the base amount of +3 for wits, 7, 8, 9, he's able to get a strong hit, which means it is going to be another momentum boost. And so let's get this little paper here. Not using staples. I'm not using paper clips just yet. I'm still prefer using the stickers. They work out. I had that one instance in like the last episode or two where it fell off and it's like a new one. These things have been doing very well. Okay, so it's a strong hit. He's able to hear them talking about. Get back to the Oracle because that was just the two. I felt that those results were working against our character, and so we have defeat, and then 17. Defeat renown. I think it's renown. You know what? Let me go to the actual Oracle here. Defeat renown. I think that's what it says. So I gotta fix that text. It's just terrible. Renown. Yep. Defeat renown. Renown. Something that's. You know what? I'm gonna re-roll. Don't like that second one. Defeat though. I love that one. Let's do 95. And that's going to be warnings. Okay, defeat warnings. Something is happening. Something is causing a stir, a problem for Damon back then. Damon is in an argument, a heated argument with whoever he's talking to, and the door opens a bit as they get into this very heated argument. The wife drops her stool, she puts it down, looks what's going on. She walks over. They're talking. So Damon is a teenager. He can probably comprehend what's obviously being said to an extent. Basically, somebody, let's say, again, if I remember this, a lot of the things I'm saying here it will live and die in my head. Damon is a fisherman, a dock worker, a dock hand, and someone took over the dock, um, the business of the dock. Someone took over the workings of it, and so he's worried. This is big problems, and that someone was the cold fronts. They took over the operations. That's what I'm trying to think of. Common English word. The operations. And that was his business partner. And so they're saying they're looking for the dock hands. They want to gather them up and see who's loyal. So this is when Cold Fronts took over the settlement's operations as the most dominant crime syndicate. And he's panicking. And so him and his wife talk about it. The friend or the friend or coworker leaves. The door slams. Morter sits down in the chair, and so does the wife, the mother and father. They sit down and they're talking, but a lot of it was what's being said is just a blur. Morter probably wasn't really paying attention here. Is he eating? So they're arguing, and then the father gets really mad, bashes the table. The food was flying. The table breaks, and then his father's screaming at his wife and pointing. She gets upset. She leaves. She goes upstairs. I'm sorry, Damon is yelling and pointing at her wife. She goes upstairs. Maybe she tells him, what are you going to do? We can't survive like this. And then Damon is crying. Remember, Damon's face is purely visible. You can see who he is. And so Damon is like, he drops in the chair. He's doing this. He doesn't know what to do. And the scene starts to shake again. The environment starts to shake, and Morter is like breaking out of character. He's like, wait, what's going on here? And in an instant, Morter flashes back upstairs to his room, and he's doing the exact same thing. He's looking at his books, his little table, nightstand, the bed, the toys, and he's like, but he remembers now because of that strong hit from earlier. He remembers that, yeah, he was just here. So he goes downstairs. Guess what? The mother's taking the food up. Damon's right there sitting and eating the food. Says, hey, how'd you sleep? Morter sits down, and we're re-experiencing everything again. So let's jump a bit. We're going to re-experience everything again. The door knock. It's the friend, the coworker. Damon goes to answer it. This time, sorry, my note. Just allergies this season. I'm just so sad. And then we come back to the fight. The father sits down, but then Morter is more self-aware now. He's no longer recalling this as when he was a kid, but as he is Morter. So he notices that he's actually a little taller. He's like, and he's standing there. So Morter's back in control. This will be a spirit roll. We're doing heart and spirit for 5, so Morter can regain composure, regain control of the scene that's happening. The Dark Realms are working against Morter here. So this would be spirit roll +3 and +2 hearts. This is +5. And the bond with his father's +6. Let's roll for it. Oh, that's a heck of a roll. Oh, yes! Matches with a strong hit. I'm going to give him +2 momentum for that. That's a beauty. And then we're going to do a plot twist. So, I love plot twists. It really works out. Okay, so I don't have the plot twist on OBS here, so you'll have to rely on what I'm saying here. Let's roll for it. Using the D100, and that's going to be 23. A secret alliance is revealed. Okay, a secret alliance is revealed. That is has potential. Let's go with the regular oracle now. I'll do 23. We'll roll again. A secret alliance is revealed. I'm going to remember that one. All right, 39. That's going to be Destiny. Oh, destroy. Okay. Destroy 2. The ability. Okay. Destroy the ability. Now, what I'm going to do here, because he found his father, and he's destroy ability. So, he's able to talk to Damon. He grabs Damon by the shoulders and says, Damon, it's me! Morter! Snap out of it, man! Slaps his face, and Damon's like, and around Damon, around this aura, it starts to crack. Like the realms that grabs him, it starts to crack. And his hands pop out of nowhere, so grabbing Damon. So now he's trying to grab Damon out, and Damon has no idea what's going on. He's like, he's been experiencing this loop probably for years in however time works in this dimension. So this would be another heart plus spirit roll plus bond. So we're looking at 2, 5, 6. And now he's trying to grab Snap Damon out of this. So because we found him, I'm going to put 2 boxes for the progress. And here we go. So 6 total on this roll. 7. Okay, so we have a weak hit, which means I can spend my momentum to bump that sucker up. So 6 total is 7. I'm going to spend, let's say, 8, 9, 10. I need to spend 3. So I'm reducing momentum to 1 and bump that up to a 10. And now we're officially on a strong hit. So he grabs his father, hugs him, pulls him back, and the reality cracks. He says, Father, or Dad, however you want to say it. I'm trying to think of that Yondu scene from Star-Lord and Yondu. Like, he was your dad, or he was your father, but he wasn't your dad, and however, or Pa, however you want to say it. So Morter is grabbing onto him, and as he pulls him out, they both fall back into Ashford, all the way back into Ashford. And in doing this, they're looking around, and it's after Ashford was destroyed. Damon's looking around like, now question is, does Damon know this place? We don't know that yet. I have a big twist here in mind. So don't. Hold on. Hold on. I know you guys this is recorded, but I feel like you guys are grabbing the screen. Come on. Okay. Oracle. So, does he know? Has he ever been to Ashford? Let's do 50-50. Okay, that's what I thought. He had. Oh, whoops. That's where we are. FYI. He has. Damon has been to Ashford before, and that's a very strong yes. Not a strong technical yes, but a very, very good yes. Which means he looks around. He says, no. No, 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 not this place. Mortar gets up. Damon, what's wrong? He said, no, no, not this place again. No, 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 no. We can't be here right now. So, has Damon been in Ashford in the real world, or has he been here in the memories, in the Dark Realms? I think it's more so, well, let's ask the Oracle. 75% chance that it's actually he has been here before in the memories, in the Dark Realms. So 75% chance. That's a yes. Oh my gosh. Oh no, that's 100. That's 100%. If I'm reading that right, that is a strong no. which means the Oracle has talked, has spoken. It's not, he hasn't been here before in the Dark Realms. Most likely started in Arlok, and whatever he was perceiving back then. He has been in Ashford before, a long time ago in the real world, which means Damon says the following. Let's check the Oracle. What does he say to Morter? Shoo, okay, I was tilting. 19. Threaten. 10. Shelter. Okay, he's desperate. He's like, no, 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 get me out of here. He grabs Morter by the. He's like, you have to get me out of here. I've been here for too effing long. He's like, I've been here for too long. We got to get out of here. He's threatening. That's how I'm seeing threatening. Whatever it was. 10. Shelter. The real world. Protection. Safety. He's like, Father, I've been trying to find you. Or he's like, Dad, I'm trying to find this whole time. This is not real. He's trying to tell him this is not real. And Damon knows this. He's like, I know this is, we cannot, he's like, I know, but we cannot be here. We cannot be here. So then they both stop, and they feel this just very heavy pressure surround them, and a large breathing voice that's shaking, echoing throughout the Dark Realms. And it sounds like a creature, a large, uh, fast voice, mainly the voice. And you hear a growl, rumbles to the floor. You can see the leaves and the shadows and the branches over it start to gather. So Mortar's like, well, how do we get out of here? What is that? Damon is like, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't respond. So until this is where we will use a plot twist. All right. So basically, I have an idea what happens here. So plus we know that Damon has been to Ashford before in his earlier years, but the twist will be, let's roll the dice and I'll tell you guys what I roll. You can always reference a Lone Star document if you have it. 16. An assumption is revealed to be false. Oh my gosh. That practically plays into my idea. An assumption is revealed to be false. This whole time, his entire life, remember, Mortar was knocked out. When he was knocked out, he lost all memory of his childhood. Everything before that. Just has speaking whatever the native tongue is there. But he lost all of his memories. So the assumption is that based on what Damon has led him to say, what has taught him and said, that I found you some time ago. You were abandoned in Darmon or wherever. That's not true. It was a covered lie. It was a white lie. It was covering the truth that Damon is actually the father. Damon, this whole time, is the father of Mortar and Hulk. He is, by blood, the father. That's why he's able to comprehend and exist in the Dark Realms without being without being destroyed from what's inside, from the inside. There's some plot holes here, like why did his father end up in Corwood? Why was Mortar separated from his father in the first place? We can reveal that in a different video. I actually don't know either. That's what the oracles have been talking, and I feel like this makes the most sense. Damon reveals as he drops to his knees and he's crying. He's like, he says, Mortar, I'm actually your father. He's like, they have this conversation. Mortar's like, listen, Dad, we have to get out of here. He says, Ellery is waiting for you. And he's like, Ellery. He says, Now, Ellery's not the mother from the earlier visions. We don't actually know what happened to her. That can be also solved. So we're going to tally that off to the side. But I'm trying to figure out how this conversation goes. Basically, I don't know if I can role play this yet, just yet. Basically, they talk about how to get out of here. They talk about Damon feels like this is a moment to break a truth, break a lie, and tell the truth, saying because he thinks they're going to have to die. He says, "Listen, I am your actual like Star Wars. It says, no, Mortar, I am your father." And so he said, "I've been lying to this whole time. I'm sorry. I'm uncovering the truth. I'm actually your real father. I'm not your adoptive father." And he attempts to say something else, but then suddenly a hand pops out from the side and grabs Mortar from the collar, grab him like this, and Mortar's holding on to um, Damon, and he pulls him away. It's a hand, just grabs him. Maybe it's an actual like shadow hand, grabs him, pulls him, and does this hand pull actually grab Damon? This will be iron and strength and spirit. So spirit and iron. So that's five total. All right, let's hope it works. So this is five total on the roll. I'll go. Okay, so let's re-roll because it always glitches like that. Probably could have kept it if I wanted to, but we have, all right, so 10, strong hit. Okay, so let's ask the Oracle, what happens here? That's also a momentum bonus. So plus 2 now. And 29, hold. Okay, well, literally, we're holding on to him. And also, hold 69, prize. Okay, well, right. The prize is Damon. He found him. Holding on to, okay, so he grabs on, he pulls him back, and as the arm pulls back, we have a scene change. We are back in the real world, Escabur. We are back right here in Arlock. All right? Now, how the hell do we get back in Arlock? Ellery. So, I'm also going to reduce the spirit of, because that was a heavy toll on Morgan. So, here's what happens. Ellery has been there the entire time. She climbed down the rope and she sat there while it looks like just a well, but Mortar wasn't there. While Mortar's been working through all of this craziness in the Dark Realms, he at this very crucial moment when Mortar was back to full realization and the epiphany of that Mortar that Damon is his real father. You are the father, and then cheers. Um, That's when Damon's body and Mortar start to float up into the top of the well. Ellery saw this and grabbed him. First grabbing Mortar because he was closest and pulled him out. They fall out onto the ground and the well, out of the well, and they're all wet. Mortar sits up and he's looking around. He's looking for Damon. Damon sits up too, slowly, trying to figure out what just happened. And then Ellery is like, "You bastards made it! You did it!" So I'm going to mark another two boxes for that. And basically, we we definitely broke her background vow super early. My father is missing. I feel like that's going to change. So here's what happens. Let's ask the Oracle. Okay, the three are now near the well. Ellery pulled him out. Damon is there. Mortar is there. Let's see what happens. 70. Oh, 15. Okay. Let's see. That's going to be Raid 24. Balance. Okay. Raid balance. Raid balance. Well, raid's like the storm something. Balance. The situation is balanced out. Raid. Someone. Let's do a plot twist here. I think this is very encouraging right now. So we'll do a plot twist. We'll go to the dice oracle and plot twist. So while they're down there, 31 Someone returns unexpectedly. That's right. Oh yeah, the Watchers. So basically, I mentioned this before. I almost missed it. The um, who was monitoring? The Cold Fronts. The Cold Fronts come back. So while um, Ellery, they're all confused, like what the hell just happened? My issue is whatever they experienced down there, do they remember? So before we reveal the Cold Fronts are up there looking down in the church and down this hole that they made, we need to do a heart check. With this is not spirit related. This is just heart check. This if they both can remember. Ally will be aiding it. So let's do +2 on this. So heart is 2, and +2 bond ish to the situation. So I have 4 total on this roll. Dice tray. Here we go. 9. Okay, weak hit. Okay, so a weak hit. They both remember certain parts and fragments of what happened. They're pulled out of it too fast. Um, so Ellery should have probably waited because I think when Damon and Morter would have reconciled their or fully finished their conversation in wholeheartedly, they would have left the dark realms naturally. But I think Ellery pulled them out too soon. So they're like their memories are faint. They're kind of mixed. They remember some details like Arlok, and they're confused. They're very confused. They're like trying to figure out what just happened. And I think Mortar doesn't exactly remember the very moment that Damon says, "I'm your father, your real father." Damon doesn't remember saying that either. They're like, and they know each other. Damon, son. They hug, and Ellery's like, "What you guys? What happened down there? What happened? Like, what the hell happened?" And so suddenly, the cold fronts, the ones the one that saved Mortar from earlier against the Misfits, the one who says, "We'll be watching you." He's back. He's standing up there with a sword and looking down. He's like, "You guys are having a party down there? What's going on?" And so everyone looks up, and then you hear the Seinfeld dun, 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 sound effect. It's like a sitcom or something. So he's like, "What are you guys doing down there?" And the well is dry. There's no water in it. It's just like a couple feet deep, and that's it. Or it's just a deep hole. There's nothing down there. There's no water. So Ellery, she says to the cold fronts. Now, Ellery, she is. I think her reputation in the cold fronts has been tarnished in some manner. She's down here for a reason. Let's ask the Oracle why. How is Ellery's reputation? What is the condition of her reputation with the cold fronts? We have 2 clash. Okay, that's what I thought. Clash, clash the screen. 92. Clash lose. Okay, so she is on thin ice, and she was sent on this. She took this advantage as a way to redeem herself. Oh yeah, remember redemption. That's one of her character arcs. Redemption. Strong, redeem. Right. So she's kind of on iffy ground with the current staff of the Cold Front community, and she's like, "Oh, it's you." She's like, "Oh, great, it's you." And then they have a little kind of this. They have this little internal monologue, and while they're talking, she climbs back up and they start arguing or talking, saying, "I should be here. This is my area." Mortar and Damon are trying to recall what happened, and Mortar says, "Father, what were you doing here? Why did you go down there, or how'd you end up in there?" And he's trying to remember. He's like, "I just like I remember hearing a voice. I thought it was your mother. I thought it was her." And so this is where I'm revealing that the mother, again, typical backstory, the adoptive mother, um, not the mother of this is a eventual woman he met later on because I got Mortar Hulse's original biological mother died long ago. She's dead, as far as we know. But this was another love interest that he met and married and fell in love with. Happy end. Well, not exactly a happy ending. She probably something happened to her. I don't think she's dead. Mother number 2. I don't think she's dead. I think she's been kidnapped or taken. So he's like, I heard her. I thought I heard her voice. I had a dream that she was here in Arlok. I went down here and I went to the church and I was I got stuck in that crazy. I don't remember. And so something he asked Ellery for help. He says I remember talking to Ellery. I need transportation to get down here. I need a horse. So she, we came down here together. I went to the church and I got lost. Someone pulled me into here. And however, Ellery, like I think she went to work. Like when they got into Arlec, they split up. She's like, okay, you do what you gotta do. I gotta do my thing here. She's undercover, trying to monitor the activity here in Arlec and the Misfits. And he got lost in the church, and that's how he ended up in the well. He got dragged in through the floorboards. However, we grabbed him because he is the actual biological father, so that if, and thus, in theory, or literally, is the bloodline, so he's allowed to interact and exist in the Dark Realms. So that's the big reveal that um, he thinks that he heard her voice. Think of the movie Shang-Chi from Marvel, um, recent Marvel film. His father, Shang-Chi's father, thought that he was hearing the voices of his loved one, of his deceased wife. And in the end, there's that big wall, and it wasn't her. It was a big interdimensional demon, flying dragon demon thing, and it was tricking him. So that's basically what happened here. He was hearing voices, but I don't know if it was actually tricking him. Maybe she is in the Dark Realms, or something happened to her that she's in this immediate area. So Morter hears this, and he's like, "Wait, you think she's alive? You think Mom's alive?" And he's like, "Yeah, I could have sworn I had a dream about it. It was the most real. I've never had a dream so real. It was just there." And then, so what this does, let's do a progress roll. You know what? Uh, I'm going to close this the enter the church. We cut it short. We did indeed cut it short, but I think we're going to modify our background val. So let me pause the video for this. Okay, so I closed off that val. I cheated. I cut it ahead. I gave 2 experience based on dangerous. But I modify our background val that's now called Search for Mother with Damon. So this has been a complete change, a complete revelation. Revelation. We are now with Damon at below the church. Ellery, I think. Yeah, Ellery and the one of the scouts, the spies for the cold fronts, are arguing over territory, bureaucratic BS. And that's where we'll close this episode. So he found out that maybe, just maybe, the mother, whose name we'll reveal in the next episode, might be alive. And that will become our new extreme background out. So there you go. Oh, wow. Okay, that was quite a bit. That was a solid hour. Holy crap, that was a lot. We were on the Dark Realms for at least the entire episode. We're back in reality. I did cut a lot of the moves away. I didn't use moves in this one. To be honest with you, let me know what you guys think. I did like my Omni roll idea. Maybe I can switch it up. I do moves next one, try the Omni roll again. But I liked it. And it was enticing. I think with the Oracle, it really helped. I love the results of the Oracle. Most of the results were great. So that's going to be it. I am tired, mentally wise, among other things. So, yes, thank you for guys for watching, and that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this telling. Please subscribe, like, share, and most importantly, comment. I'll see you in the next entry.